Are you still hoping to see Daniel Craig return as the legendary 007 James Bond? Well, let's take a closer look at why that is unlikely to happen and why his departure marks the end of a remarkable chapter in one of the cinema's most celebrated franchises. Daniel Craig first stepped into the shoes of James Bond in the 2006 blockbuster Casino Royale. His arrival was like a fresh engine installed into a classic sports car, powerful, modern, and capable of taking the franchise to the exciting new heights. Craig brought a tougher, more realistic and emotionally complex Bond that resonated with audiences across the globe. However, long before Daniel Craig became the face of the 007, several distinguished actors had already carried the mantle of Britain's most famous secret agent. The journey began with Sean Connery, whose charismatic and confident portrayal established the blueprint for the Bond. It was followed by George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, and Pierce Brosnan, each bringing a unique flavor to the character and ensuring that James Bond remained relevant across generations. During his tenure, Daniel Craig starred in 5 Bond films. Number 1, Casino Royale 2006, Quantum of Solace 2008, Skyfall 2012, Spectre 2015, and No Time to Die of 2021. Among these, Skyfall became one of the most successful Bond films ever made, while No Time to Die provided a dramatic and emotional farewell to Craig's version of the iconic spy. But why won't Daniel Craig return as James Bond? The first season is the immense physical demand of the role. Playing James Bond is not simply about wearing a tuxedo and delivering a clever one-liners. It requires intense action sequences, dangerous stunts, extensive travel, and months of physically exhausting filming. In fact, during the production of Spectre in 2015, Craig suffered a serious leg injury that required surgery. Over the years, the accumulated physical toll of performing demanding action scenes became increasingly challenging. It's similar to a world-class athlete competing season after season. The body eventually begins to demand rest and recovery. The second reason is Craig's desire to demand new opportunities. For nearly 15 years, James Bond occupied a significant portion of his professional life. While the role brought him worldwide recognition, it also limited the time available to pursue different characters and creative projects. Imagine being known for playing one instrument in a grand orchestra. No matter how brilliantly you perform, there comes a time when you want to discover what other melodies you can create. Daniel Craig reached that point in his career. He wanted the freedom to tackle new stories, new challenges, and new artistic horizons. The third reason involves the natural evolution of the James Bond franchise itself. One of the unique traditions of the Bond series is periodic reinvention. Unlike many fictional characters and actors, James Bond is continuously refreshed amongst new actors, ensuring that each generation has its own version of the famous secret agent. Think of James Bond as a real race rather than a solo marathon. Each actor carries the baton for a period of time, leaves a distinctive mark on the character, and then passes it on to the next talented performer. This process keeps the franchise vibrant, contemporary, and appealing to new audiences. Age also plays a role. While Daniel Craig remains an exceptional actor, the Bond character is often envisioned as a physically elite field agent capable of handling intense combat situations, high-speed pursuits, and dangerous missions. As a result, producers typically look for young actors who can potentially carry the franchise for a decade or more. For these reasons, No Time to Die was intentionally designed as Daniel Craig's final mission as James Bond. It was not merely the end of a film, it was the conclusion of a complete era in Bond history. Yet Craig's legacy remains undeniable. He transformed James Bond from a stylish spy into a deeply human character with vulnerabilities, emotions, and personal struggles. His portrayal brought new depth to the franchise and helped introduce Bond to a new generation of fans around the world. As audiences eagerly await the announcement of the next 007, one thing is certain: Daniel Craig's contribution to the Bond legacy will never be forgotten. Just as Sean Connery defined Bond for one generation and Pierce Brosnan for another, Daniel Craig will forever be remembered as the actor who reinvented James Bond for the modern age. Who will be the next 007? Only time will tell. Until then, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Smith Spotlight for more fascinating stories from the world of film, entertainment and popular culture.